Great day, students, and welcome back to another recap video for science. Now, this week in science, we're going to be talking about my favorite biomes out there, and those are the forests. Now, most of the earth is covered in forest, which is kind of nice because, well, we know since we learned about plants, they give us oxygen, they give us resources. We wouldn't be here without plants and trees. So this week we're going to be focusing on 3 different types of forests. Today we're going to focus on the temperate deciduous forest. Later on this week we're going to be talking about the taiga, and we're going to end the week with the rainforest, which is one place that Sergeant cannot wait one day to go and visit. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sit back and let's learn a little bit about these forests in a vocabulary introduction.
Let's go to the forest. Come on. Yeah, let's go explore. Yeah. Let's go. The forest is a biome known for its trees. They can be found all over the world. Please believe they literally cover a third of the planet. There are 3 types of forests. We can help you understand. There are tropical rainforests. You know where they're found? Between 23.5 degrees of latitude north and south. They're hot and humid year round. The temperature doesn't change, and every year they can receive up to 30 feet of rain. There are only 2 seasons, rainy and dry. Temperate deciduous is another forest type. They're found in various areas at mid-latitude. North America, Asia, and Europe has got them too. They have 4 defined seasons, and their temperatures vary. Precipitation is moderate all throughout the year. See, the last forest type is called a taiga. They're in the subarctic region, so you gotta be a survivor. They're between 50 and 60 degrees north. They have summers that are warm and wet, yet they're short. The winters are long, dry, and cold. Precipitation is mostly in the form of snow.
Forests can be cold, hot or in between, but one thing that they have in common is trees. Forests can be cold, hot or in between, but one thing that they have in common is trees.
Tropical rainforest, temperate deciduous, taigas. There are 3 forest types. It's ridiculous.
Forests can be cold, hot or in between, but one thing that they have in common is trees.
The plants and animals in each type of forest have developed special adaptations. Let's go explore. In the tropical rainforest, vines have roots in the ground, but they climb high in the trees where the sunlight is found. Animals like spider monkeys and flying frogs can jump and climb through tree branches. That's just how they evolve. Now in the temperate forest, the trees have broad green leaves, so they can capture lots of sun to make food with ease. And temperate animals must adapt as the seasons change. Birds migrate for the winter while bears hibernate. Now in the taiga, evergreen trees withstand the cold. The sap in their needles has a freezing point that's low, so it stays liquid even when the temperatures plummet. Plus they retain water they can use when they want it. Most taiga mammals like caribou and bear have thick furry coats, so in the winter they're prepared.
Forests can be cold, hot or in between, but one thing that they have in common is trees. Forests can be cold, hot or in between, but one thing that they have in common is trees.
Tropical rainforest, temperate deciduous, taigas. There are 3 forest types. It's ridiculous.
Forests can be cold, hot or in between, but one thing that they have in common is trees.
I keep saying it. Ladies and gentlemen, I keep saying it. Vocabulary is awesome. And if you haven't been able to log on, just let me know and I can get you on there. You can do the lessons, you can do the flashcards, you could do the quizzes, you could do the fun games that they have on vocabulary, and listen to the incredible music, all while learning a little bit more about science. Now, it's one thing to talk about the forests. It's another thing to actually go there. So, in a moment, I say we take a little trip to, my favorite forest, which is the one we live in, and that is the temperate deciduous forest. Now, last week I spent a lot of time in the deciduous forest, and I want to share with you some of the things that I found, some of the things that I saw, and some of the things that I learned. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Great day, students. It's Mr. Sargent here, and as you can guess, I am not in my classroom today. We are on Thanksgiving break, but you know there's no break for Mr. Sargent, or for science. And today, as we're continuing to talk about our different biomes, I want us to really get to see and get to know, well, one of my favorites, and that's the one we live in, and that's the deciduous biome. So we're out here in McLeansville, which is right down the road from the school, and today we're going to be learning a little bit about, well, the deciduous forest. So ladies and gentlemen, let's sit back and learn. Now, ladies and gentlemen, right now we are, well, it doesn't really look like the deciduous forest because we have different kinds of trees behind us. What I have behind me is called bamboo. Now, it's not native to the deciduous forest, but the great thing about bamboo is you can plant it anywhere. And one of the great things about the deciduous forest is that we have great soil to grow bamboo, as well as other trees that you're going to see. And that's one of the big and important things about the deciduous forest. A lot of trees, and a lot of different kinds of trees. Now, like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great things about the deciduous forest is, well, many trees and many plants grow here because, ladies and gentlemen, the deciduous forest has something that no other biome has, and those are seasons. Right now we're experiencing fall, and if you can tell, we're having a change in temperature. And as we learned, when you change temperatures, well, we're going to get some wind, and you're going to be hearing a lot of wind in today's video. Hopefully it's not too bad. But the great thing about the deciduous forest, we have all 4 seasons. We got winter, spring, summer, and the season that we're experiencing right now, fall. Now remember what we said before, ladies and gentlemen. In the deciduous forest, we have many different kinds of trees. As you can see now, I'm out of the bamboo, and if you look around, we can see everything from oaks to maples to even some evergreen trees over here. Now, if you remember, evergreen or coniferous stay green all year, and I can't wait to show you a little bit more. Now, the other trees, if you notice, all the leaves have done what? Well, they've fallen off, and they're all right here. Well, we learned last week that the reason why it does that is to save the chlorophyll. We know in the fall and the winter we have less daylight, which means less photosynthesis, which means less food for all these trees. Well, they're doing it to save themselves. They've adapted to lose their leaves, but save the water and chlorophyll for the winter. Pretty amazing. Now, as we look right here in our selection of different trees, and there are so many different selections. If you look right here, we have a pine tree. And what's interesting about a pine tree is, 1, it is an evergreen, so it will always be green. 2, it has needles instead of leaves. And 3, if you look closely right there, you will see the tree's seed. So ladies and gentlemen, we just saw the evergreen, and I happen to have one of the pine cones right here. And I want you to take a closer look at the pine cone, because if you notice, it has different parts of the seed that break off pretty easily. Now, the reason why they're shaped like this, well, a number of reasons. There are multiple seeds in this pine cone. And what will happen is not every seed will grow to become a plant. But the tree wants to give off enough of the seed so that there is still a chance. So there's probably about 150 seeds just in this one pine cone. Now, in the deciduous forest, it's really easy to grow evergreen trees. They just take a long time to grow. So ladies and gentlemen, if we plant this seed, we may not see a tree for a couple of years. So as you have heard through most of the video today, you could probably hear a lot of wind going on. Well, let's talk about the weather in the deciduous forest for a second. As I mentioned a little while back, the deciduous forest has all 4 seasons. Now, living here in North Carolina, we may not experience the full force of these 4 seasons. We know that our summers are hot, they're incredible. Man, I miss the summer. Spring, very warm, wet though. Fall though, fall's a little interesting. Some days we're at 80 degrees and it is beautiful. And some days like today, it's about 40 degrees and very windy. So we have definitely have a variation in our weather out here. But winters are interesting. Now, where I'm from originally, Maine, our winters, well, we get a lot of snow. and I mean a lot of snow. In the winters, it snows so much. But down here in North Carolina, it doesn't snow as much. We usually get a little bit of snow, but we mostly have to deal with ice in the winter. Well, it's because of where we're located in the country. We're further south or nearer to the equator, which we know we're gonna have warmer air. Now does that mean we're not the same kind of deciduous forest as what we'll find up in Maine? Well, we're the exact same. We still have the seasons, we just don't have the severity of certain seasons. They don't get summer as hot as we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we're talking about the weather in a deciduous forest, it's important to understand that they have all 4 seasons. Now, it doesn't mean how strong the seasons are. We may have some areas that have a stronger winter and stronger summer, but having those 4 seasons make them unique because the other biomes that we've talked about don't have them. So now the big question is, well, how does a deciduous forest stay healthy? And if you look around me, you will see the reason why. Can anyone point it out? Well, if you look around me, you see a lot of fallen leaves, you see a lot of fallen trees. Now, we may think a fallen tree is just a nuisance, but for the deciduous forest, it is a lifesaver, because what's gonna happen is the trees will do something called decompose. Now, what I mean by decompose is once the tree is no longer living, it's gonna fall to the ground. Now, it may be in our way, but what's happening right now is it's decomposing. There are insects in it, eating it away, giving it food, and it's breaking it down and turning all these leaves and turning all of these dead trees into new soil. Now, what is that new soil gonna do? Well, it's going to feed each one of these incredible trees. So, in order for these to stay alive, well, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the trees has to fall. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was so much fun. And if you ever get a chance to go out with your family into the deciduous forest, maybe just go for a walk and make some observations. Look at the trees, look at the decomposers that we learned about. It is definitely worth it. We can't be stuck in a classroom all the time. Most of science is outside of the classroom, and we need to go out and find it. Now, one thing that kind of bummed me out was, well, there weren't a lot of animals out there. Now, when we're thinking about the deciduous forest, or the temperate deciduous forest, we're looking at animals like squirrels, raccoons, deer. We're looking for, the further north you get, sometimes we see bear or moose. There's one thing that a lot of them have in common. There are a lot of mammals in the deciduous forest, mainly because there's a lot of supplies and a lot of places for them to build homes out of, a lot of resources for them to eat. And ladies and gentlemen, there's quite an incredible balance in this ecosystem. Now, we know a lot of these mammals are getting ready for what we call hibernation, where they kind of slow down and they shut down almost during the winter because the resources aren't as plentiful as they are throughout the rest of the year. Seasons are very important in a deciduous or temperate deciduous forest. One question I have for you is this: where were the birds? If you can come back to me tomorrow and tell me where did the birds go, well, I might have some bonus points for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me in our little trip to the deciduous forest. I wish we could go to the other forests, but, well, later on this week, we'll see if we can take a virtual field trip out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I cannot wait to see each and every one of you tomorrow.